Hi guys, and welcome to episode 6 of my DTM 2016 championship. We are at Moscow Raceway, a track I've never driven on before, but I decided just to give it my best in practice and see how it goes. Here's the start of a good lap in practice. Turn 1 is quite fast by the tight double left-hander of turn 2. Turn 2 is blind, so it's very essential that you turn in as early as possible and not run wide. Turn 3 is a horrible turn that I hated even in the race, that tightens on itself. You tend to brake as late as possible but then almost run into the AI. The following turns are just simple corners taken almost flat out. You rush quite fast into turn 8. Turn 8 is an uphill right-hander. You can actually make up a lot of time on the AI, but it's also easy to run wide and bump someone off. The next few corners are simple left and right handers, 90 degrees, nothing fancy. The only thing you need to worry about is to take a neat, clean line and not run wide in any of them. I tend to focus on just following a neat racing line, trying not to oversteer or understeer. The biggest problem is lining the car for the final turn 14 corner onto the main straight. This is turn 14. You need to take a little bit curb on the inside, maximize the throttle, pick it up nice and early and get onto the straight as fast as possible. The main straight, which leads up to turn 15, is really fast. You use DRS in the race if you're close enough to the car in front and brake almost on the 100-meter board just to try and get on the inside and outbrake someone. Turn 15, straightforward, almost 90-degree left-hander, perfect braking spot. And that's essentially a lap of the Moscow Raceway. Qualifying wasn't a problem. I did pick up a bit of issues with Jamie Green when he tried to block me on my best lap. All I had to do was stick on him, get a bit of slipstream, get ready for turn 15 and outbrake him on the inside. I was up at this point, looking good for maybe pole, and hopefully Jamie didn't slow me down too much. Managed to brake very neatly into this corner, ran a fraction wide, wasn't too much of a problem, and crossed the line to take pole position. I was very happy with this. I wasn't actually thinking I'd get pole, considering I had almost no practice on this track. We had a good start, more or less, into the race. Blomqvist managed to pass us up the inside, Whitman as well. Mortara eventually drilled us. We bumped into him. That wasn't the plan. That slowed us down even more. Ekstrom passed us. We were then down to 5th place. So much for our pole position.
Left side, clear left.
Turn 3, one of my classic overtaking spots. Since it tightens up on itself, the AI seemed very slow into there. So I pulled one of my spectacular moves. That was P4. Now we rush up to turn 8. I was hoping to try a move on Mortara, didn't work, almost bumped him. I decided no, let me just keep a cool head and maybe get some positions later on in the race. Since we were heading up towards the main straight, I realized don't try any stupid moves now. If there's a gap, take it, otherwise just keep it clean and wait till the main straight. The AI are battling, they're slowing themselves down, which is good for me. My plan was to try and use their stupid maneuvers to try and pass them later on. I get an average exit onto the straight, pick up a little bit of the slipstream, but they're a bit too far away for this to work. I then realize, hold on, it's not so bad. I can actually catch them up a fraction and maybe if I'm lucky outbrake them into turn 15. Didn't work. I got stuck again behind Mortara, and that was the first lap. I had a good exit off the final corner, got on the inside of Mortara, passed him into turn 1, well that's what I thought, and then he came flying past me into turn 2. Seems like the AI are quite good into turn 1, or more like I'm quite useless into turn 1. I considered going up again into turn 3 on Mortara, decided against it. I realized if I got it wrong, I'd probably spin off. Here's our usual chase into turn 8. During practice I did attempt one or two stupid moves into turn 8. It's not an easy move to pull off. If you get it right, it's spectacular, but more often than not you get it wrong. At this point all I was thinking of is consolidating my points in the championship and not trying to make any stupid moves again.
On your right.
Due to that, I almost gave that position away. I then bumped into Motara.
Left side.
Thankfully I didn't spin off, which gave the position back temporarily to Ekstrom. I got it back immediately on the next corner and realized, hold on, this is the run up to turn 15, which means I need to get a good exit on the start finish straight. I'm catching a sniff of a slipstream, hoping to maybe really brake late. And since the AI are busy battling in front, I thought here's a chance. Braked as late as possible, got up the inside of Motara, bumped into him just a fraction, but that's fine. This is touring cars after all. Passed him,
Race pace, this is good.
and now that was P3. The AI are still battling as usual. I'm hoping that they'll slow themselves down even more so that I can get a chance to pass them again. I definitely wanted my first place back. I had it for like 1 millisecond when the lights changed. For those that don't know how the DTM rules work, you tend to get the DRS 3 times on a lap, which means you can choose to use it anywhere on the lap, not just like in Formula 1 where you can use it in pre-designated zones. The problem with this track is there's only 1 or 2 places that make the DRS effective. There's too many twisty bits, which means that even if you use it, you don't have enough grip to make the corners. As you can see, the AI are quite fast in the twisty bits, which means that it's only in the final sector that I've got a chance of passing. I could try 1 or 2 kamikaze moves into one of the really tight right-handers or left-handers in the middle sector, but it doesn't seem like it's very effective. What you gain in one spot, you immediately lose in another. Back on the start-finish straight, this is lap 3. Catching another sniff of slipstream. Blomqvist is in front of us. We're going to try another kamikaze move, late braking, up the inside. Side by side, brake really late, trying to go for 2 in 1. And that's it. That's P1. That was a spectacular move, even if I have to say so myself. Now the plan is not to make any mistakes, don't do anything stupid, and keep the lead. My biggest problem is the moment I take the lead, I tend to slow down a little bit, trying to be conservative, which is not always an effective way of maintaining the lead. Sometimes I make extra mistakes, like there in turn 3 I almost ran wide. The trick here is just to focus, keep the exact same type of pace I was using earlier in the race and maintain that. There's no need to push too hard. All I'll do is wear out the tires and make a mistake. We jump ahead to the final lap. I spent the last few laps just consolidating my lead. I've got a 2.5 second gap more or less to Whitman, who's in second place. And even though I made 1 or 2 tiny mistakes in the previous laps, it wasn't enough to let the AI pass me. At this point, I was still doing my best not to make mistakes, keeping a neat, tidy line, looking after tires, looking after the car, not doing anything stupid as usual. Just a couple of corners to go before the race ends. I just realized now I've got a couple of races left before the championship ends, and this race win should make a big difference. This is the start finish straight. I got onto the throttle nice and early, making sure the AI got not a chance to catch me. My plan is not to brake too late. Need to make a perfect exit on this corner to make sure there's no mistakes. Neat and tidy, clip the apex, use the exit curb early on the throttle, rush to the line, and that's a win.
That's a win. Great job. Well done.
Thank you, race engineer Captain Obvious. We actually set a really fast lap that actually beat our qualifying time. It just showed me that there's a lot more pace to be had if I just practice a lot more. We now have a 20-point lead in the championship, which also means that if we just finish regularly in the points, we should be able to win this championship quite easily, pending any of my usual stupid mistakes. Thumbs up if you liked this video and subs if you loved it. See you guys at the next race.